The diary of the UNFPA Regional Director on tour in Kinshasa City aimed at the launching of the African Union roadmap on the demographic dividend. In fact, the UNFPA Regional Director had a discussion with Modesto Batilukwebo, the State Minister and Ministerial Plan.
La RDC représente un enjeu important.
The DRC represents the important stake for the continent, and so it must play its role of a big country to get the population out of poverty. And to do that, we should lean on education, health, and also everything we have that contributes to development.
Mais également tout ce qu'on a comme levier de développement.
On the very day, the Ministerial Plan charged the launching of the African Union roadmap on the demographic dividend at Kimpeski Fleuve Congo Hotel. The DRC is the fifth African state to launch officially that roadmap, of which theme is benefit fully the demographic dividend by investing in youth.
Cette rencontre se veut un moment de partage et d'échange.
This meeting is a sharing moment together with the international community around the issue of the demographic dividend, focusing on the efforts in terms of training, empowerment, and the various investments that the Democratic Republic of Congo make in favor of its youth in the framework of development strategy called the 2050 Vision.
Dans le cadre de sa stratégie de développement dénommée Vision 2050.
In his speech, the Dr. Julita Onabanjo, the UNFPA Regional Director, congratulated the Congolese government for accepting to launch the African Union roadmap and make it a priority, the demographic dividend achievement for its emergence.
To launch the African Union roadmap on harnessing the demographic dividend through investing in our youth. It is a very special event. And I think it's even more special that we are doing this in the days leading up to our celebration of Africa Day.
For the African Union representative, Abdou Abari, the DRC should play a role in Congolese youth potential. The roadmap determines actions to carry out in order to achieve investments to benefit youth potential for the African development. On his part, the Ministerial Plan, Modesto Batilukwebo, saluted the African Union contribution and that of UNFPA for helping DRC to implement its roadmap in order to reach the sustainable development by 2030.
Je voudrais saisir cette opportunité pour réitérer la volonté politique.
I'd like to seize this opportunity to reiterate the political will of DRC governments to make the roadmap its own of the African Union on the demographic dividends through the concerted development of an implementation plan in order to consolidate the human capital to government for DRC development by 2050.
Démocratique du Congo à l'horizon 2050.
The UNFPA representative, Madame Diane Keita, support the idea that by 2030, the young girl and young boy will contribute to the development of their country.
Dividende démographique, c'est s'assurer que d'ici.
The demographic dividend is to make sure that today's young girl and boy may contribute to the economic development of their country. That means the young girl should attend school, be healthy, the young girl avoid getting pregnant, and contribute to the development of their country. Then Dr. Julita Onabanjo was welcomed by the Bluntly Broadcasting at RT Institute, hosted by Anissa Yomboranyama, well appreciated by Congolese English-speaking audience, as a result of her intervention on the importance for DRC to invest in youth, foundation of development.
Yeah, that's something very good. You're talking about youth, young people.
Exactly.
You have to provide young people with jobs. Most in the Democratic Republic of Congo, joblessness has become, a reality.
I know, indeed,
Yes.
indeed. And what the roadmap does is that to ensure that our young people of Africa, of which there are extremely a lot of them, 800 million form the population of young people in Africa.
Yeah.
In DRC, 68% of the population is under the age of 25.
Yes.
And what the roadmap says is look
Yeah.
at 4 pillars where you have to invest in young people. The first is in their health and their well-being.
Yeah.
The second is in their education
Good.
and the skills that they need
Yeah.
to do exactly that, to get
Yeah.
the sorts of employment that is key. So the third pillar is around employment, it's around entrepreneurship, it's around creativity and innovation.
Yeah.
And really the fourth pillar looks at human rights, governance, and youth participation.
On the other hand, the regional director also exchanged with the Minister of the Public Health, the Dr. Oli Ilunga. Between both personalities, the discussions turned around the partnership and the UNFPA support in the health sector in DRC. Accompanied by the representative of UNFPA, Madame Diane Keita, the regional director expressed her gratitude to the Congolese government for the mobilized efforts in the family planning, even the reproduction health. She also pleaded with the Minister of Health for the improvement of care quality of women and young pregnant girls. Dr. Julita took advantage of symbolically handing to the Minister of Health the UNFPA contribution for the fight against Ebola outbreak. The gift included bikes. And then came after the high-level meeting with the country representatives, the donor in DRC, the agents of the United Nations system, and also the Congolese officials, namely the Minister of Gender, Chantal Safou, and the Special Representative of the Head of State in charge of sexual violence, Janine Mabunda Lioku. After the lunch, the young parliamentary got together to discuss with the Foreign Affairs Commission of Senate. They talked about the efforts that the DRC should make to relaunch the census and habitat. The tour of the regional director coincided with the International Day for the Eradication of Obstetric Fistula, celebrated on May 23rd of every year. During a ceremony organized at Saint-Joseph-les-Métis area, the UNFPA took advantage of the event to call community mobilization in order to definitely eradicate the fistula that affects on average 4,000 women every year in DRC. The ceremony went on the visit of the operated women of the fistula to whom UNFPA and its partners gave the dignity kit. Committed in this fight, UNFPA called on the actress, director, and Nigerian producer Stephanie Lenus, the owner of the movie entitled Dry, projected in the Kimsky Auditorium, Fleuve Congo Hotel. The author of this work wanted through this production make the victims happy again, but also called on the decision makers to pay close attention to the sickness that affects the women donor. The Dr. Julita Onabanjo paid visit to operated women of the fistula at Biamba Marie Mutombo Hospital, to whom she gave the dignity kits and also the repair kits to the hospital administrator. To close the tour, the Dr. Julita Onabanjo welcomed youth panel of UNFPA and discussed with the office staff of this structure for the population in DRC.